Welcome, and thank you for tuning in this April 12th to the second in our series of 5 classes on the lapel guard. My name is Dan Lukhehart, and I'm the owner and instructor of Brea Jiu-Jitsu. Today our goal is going to be to cover some of the main worm guard variations, which serve as the primary focus when we have the lapel. Yesterday's class can be reviewed on our YouTube page, as today's class is a continuation of that. The syllabus for this week is very new school, so try to keep an open mind when learning these techniques. We'll get started in just a moment as people filter in, so sit tight and we'll be underway in no time. In the meantime, here's some of today's news. On April 12, 2016, BJJ Eastern Europe reported that the Abu Dhabi Pro had now become the biggest tournament in the world with 5,000 competitors. Stunned by this claim, which shatters the previous record of 3,527, I took to the UAE Jiu-Jitsu Federation page to confirm the registered competitors list. The total number is partitioned into adults and kids. The adults have a registered total of 1,751. The countries participating seem to be a mixture. Since this tournament is also including a separate kids championship held the same week, we'll include the total number of kids registered, which is 1,830. Nearly all the kids were from the United Arab Emirates, representing the investment they have made with jiu-jitsu in schools. This breaks the current record set by this year's IBJJF Pan Kids, which was 1,078. This brings the total registered competitors to date of this article at 3,581. This number does indeed break the record of the adults-only IBJJF European tournament, but falls well short of the 5,000 by about 1,500 competitors according to the UAE website. Alright, sorry about that technical problem there. We're got the audio thing situated. So, yesterday, what we went over is we went over the spider lapel position. So, just to define that in somewhat of a brief review, we're going to hold with both hands on the bottom of his lapel. My feet are going to go on his biceps like so. This is a position that's common after you pull guard. It's a pretty easy position to get. You grab the lapel and you sit down. And what we went over yesterday is we went over when our opponent kind of disengages from us. So he goes backwards like this, kind of forcing me to stay tight to him like so. But it's kind of difficult to tie up with him. For example, getting in a De La Riva hook and establishing some sort of entanglement like this. So what we did is we went over a situation where we could kind of Tarzan around, grab the lapel or grab the pants at the bottom, and put the foot on the hip, playing this kind of tripod guard situation and getting under our opponent and doing all sorts of cool stuff from there. But that whole series implies that if we're available to tie up with our opponent, kind of like in a De La Riva, we're going to do that. The only reason that that reaction that we went over yesterday comes into play is when they're disengaging from us. So what we're going to do, if it's very easy to do so, is we're going to start the same way. We're going to Tarzan over to the side like so. We're going to grab his pants just like before. And perhaps I can't put the foot on the hip, or I just choose not to. I pull myself with the grips into the De La Riva. And that can be harder than you think it is. If you're known as a lapel player and the guy wants nothing to do with the lapel, he's going to be disengaging. So just that component to kind of get into a lapel de la Hiva is I swing to the side, I attach myself to him with this forefinger and grip, and either I can't or choose not to put the foot on the hip like yesterday, and I pull myself into the de la Hiva. Now this kind of brings us into our main topic today, which is the worm guard. Essentially my goal is going to be to pass this lapel around my leg and do a few grip strips and get to this position. If I'm able to get to this position, this is a huge advantage to me. I have an immense amount of control, and I have a good ability to get up and sweep my opponent from here. So that's just kind of an overview before I get into the finer points of how to actually achieve that. So let's rotate a little bit here. So once I'm here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let go of his ankle, and I kind of sit up as much as I can. I grab around his leg, and I pass this lapel around and go back down. Sitting up allows you to make a grip a little bit easier. So that first step is going to be sitting up, grabbing his leg, and just going right back down. In many ways, the worm guard has a lot of similarities with the sit-up guard. It's kind of the same type of mechanics. Now, when I sit up, I actually shoot this foot past his hip. So if it's on his hip or his knee, for now it's going to be on the hip though, I shoot it past his hip. Let's get another angle on this right here. So when I go, I shoot it past, just like so, pass it underneath and fall down. Now what I'm going to do with this hand, let's rotate all the way around to the other side. What I do with this hand is I do one more grip strip. I switch the grip right here, grabbing as deep of grip as I can. Now I kind of rainbow my arm backwards and I get up onto my elbow. Now for the sweep, I'm going to kind of form fit my leg to behind his Achilles. And I raise my hips up, and then what does the sweep is my hips turning. I'm attached to his leg, and I pull up like this, and then get the sweep. So it's really the hips that kind of sweep in. So I'll point out some details. I'll layer in more details as we go along. So starting from yesterday's position, go to the side, grab a forefinger grip. I choose not to go the foot on the hip, and I suck myself in. Immediately sit up and feed the lapel. Now, I don't waste time here either, and I'd like to layer in another detail. You want as deep of a grip with this hand as possible. And what you need to do is go all the way around, like I'm trying to peek at his far leg, and I can grab all the way back here. If I'm just here, I'm going to end up grabbing more of the tail end of it. But when I go all the way back around, I can kind of bring it down like a bread cutter choke. That's how I like to think of it. And when you do that, you have an immense control on his posture. Wilson, posture up from here. And there's no better really type of posture control because the lapel is attached to his back and it's pulling down. And you're quite isolated from any sort of fast movements he's going to have to break this grip using his posture because it's kind of wedged up against his knee right here. Now with this awesome grip, I rainbow my arm back and get up on my elbow. Form fit the back of your knee to his leg, raise my hips up, and then I turn with my hips. And the back of my knee kind of swipes out his leg, and I end up on top. Okay. So one more time. Here, in our generic lapel guard, Tarzan over, grab, pull myself in, and immediately feed the grip, and exchange. Bread cutter choke, up, form fit, and sweep. So do you have any questions on this part here? Hey, Matt. All right, let's grab a partner and let's drill it.
Here's a great example of the worm guard in use. This match was in 2014 against the excellent pressure passer Murillo Santana and was the debut of the worm guard. Even in the direct aftermath of this match, it mostly went unnoticed by the greater jiu-jitsu public, and it wasn't until later where it gained widespread recognition. I'll turn up Sean and Caleb's commentary so you could give it a listen.
Yeah.
The lapel saved him.
It did. Absolutely saved him from near mount, back, a lot of stuff there Murillo was creeping towards. So Now a wash. Amarillo's going to have to do all that work all over again.
I like it.
Amarillo gained one advantage. Keenan's got a good sweep now.
Here's another example from that same match.
Now Amarillo will score 2. But he is down by 1 advantage right now, so minute left. And Keenan right back on that same grip. Yep, he's coming up. Gonna get it again. It's too much. That grip is too much to stop.
This past weekend, the New York Spring International Open took place, and some of Jiu-Jitsu's biggest names were out in force. Here are some results from notable divisions. In the light featherweight division, Joao Miyao continued his trend of coming on top to pass guard, which he did successfully against Tadashi Takashima in the finals. He ended the match with a very unique cross choke from the leg drag position. In the featherweight division, Joao's brother Paulo faced off in an all-star match against Cobrinha black belt Isaac Doderlein. No video has yet hit YouTube of the finals, but in this semi-final match against Marcelo Garcia's Joel Burgess, Mao was able to extract himself from Burgess's X-guard and single X, to apply a guard pass and take the back. Mao sealed the deal with a choke. Team Cicero Costa uses Brea Jiu-Jitsu as their staging ground for major tournaments, so we're very happy to see them once again on top of the podium. They woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning for a drilling session the day after they won Pans. In the middleweight and openweight division, rising star Dylan Danis closed out the division with Marcelo Garcia teammate Marcos Tinoco and Min Shirkira respectively. In the middle heavyweight division, Murilo Santana submitted Gregor Gracie with a triangle in a 3-person division. Lastly, in the lightweight division, Gianni Grippo won the finals against Masahiro Iwasaki by an advantage earned by a Berimbolo attempt that went out of bounds. The center ref incorrectly awarded Gianni 2 points for a sweep, but was overruled by the 2 side referees. Gianni is a friend of Brea Jiu-Jitsu, having trained and visited a number of times, so we're equally excited to see his success. In other results, celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain took first in his division of 3 in the Blue Belt Masters 5 category, and UFC star Kenny Florian was on the mats once again competing. That's it for this week. Stand by for more. Since this technique is our primary movement, we need to drill it a bunch so we have a little bit of downtime. We had some of our after-school kids film an instructional during our after-school session. Have a look at Nolan and Marissa showing a technique of their choice while the class is drilling live. We'll be back in a moment.
I'll be showing a move from De La Hiva X. Well, you start in De La Hiva with the same side grip. From here, I like to push the knee out just a little bit and like wave my leg up and down so I can get in the first hook and put my other X hook in. From there, I scoot back. And with this hand still on the leg, I grab the pants first, then the other pant grip, and switch to crab ride. Then double up on the belt grip and dump them. Take their back. So, De La Hiva. De La Hiva with the same side grip, push out a little bit, wave your leg so you can put in the first X hook, then the second. Then scoot over a little bit, grab the belt, pants, crab ride, and dump. One more time, fast.
This move I like doing because you have to do it in a fast pace, and I feel like sometimes you get caught in this position and don't know what to do. So when you're in half guard, instead of just doing the regular passing, I like to push the leg out and put myself into quarter guard, and then from here I make the triangle with our leg. So I triangle my legs and I face myself. I turn myself all the way over facing straight, so like you're like in a L, a weird looking L. And then you have to forward roll, so you put one hand down and your right hand goes all the way down to the feet to forward roll, and when you roll you have to kick your legs out, and you can end up in the back. But if you can't, the least position that you can, well, the bad position you could land yourself in is back into the half guard. So from the half guard, you push down, put yourself into quarter guard. You triangle your legs, and then you do a forward roll, and you trap your legs forward, and then you get the back.
Okay, gather around, please. So, kind of addressing some common questions that you might have, common problems from this position, is that when I'm here, it can be very difficult to feed the lapel underneath. It can be very difficult here because you can just simply run out of lapel. There just might not be enough there. So I'm going to give you a couple tips in order to overcome this problem. And you're still practicing this base move basically for the entire technique portion. So really the base of what you're practicing doesn't change. And I actually am experiencing this problem right now. And rotate just a little bit. The reason is because I just untucked his gi and it's not quite out. So I need to untuck his gi. So the question becomes, what tool do I have to untuck his gi? And the only tool that's really available other than my hand is my foot going as close as I can to his belt and pushing it out at this direction here. So that gives me a ton more lapel to work with, and then I could go and potentially just continue with the entire sequence as before. Okay? So that's option number one for not long enough lapel. Option number two is perhaps his gi is just short. Missed the gi inspection, or the guy's wearing one of the cheater gis to training. So what you can do, instead of directly passing it over the leg, is we can have an intermediary step. What I'm gonna do is I take my leg and I make essentially like a leg lasso on the lapel, like this. This gives me a ton of control over his back. Now I haven't got the what I need yet, which is more lapel. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my knees this way, both knees going this direction. I pull with my De La Riva hook, keeping it really tight, and I get a balance check to this direction, just like this. Now he's lower, so I haven't gained any more lapel, and as he postures up, posture up, then I can go up and grab the grip that I want. So instead of making the lapel longer, I just brought him to me. So the difference between the two is the first one, I actually made the lapel longer by kicking it out. And in the second one, I just brought him closer to me. Now, in many ways, this shares a common characteristic. When he steps over my leg from the De La Riva, and I pull forward like this, and then kind of spin and recover, this is based around that type of movement. So that reverse De La Riva recovery movement. You're just doing it not from the reverse De La Riva, you're doing it with a leg lasso. So when I'm here, having a little bit of trouble, make a lasso with the lapel, bring my knees towards my chest, keep my De La Riva hook tight. the whole time, bring him this way, and then as he returns to his base, then I catch that sitting up movement and pass. Get up and complete the sweep. So one of the things that I noticed as you guys were doing this, it's not bad or good, it's just is that once you got to this point, and I told you to do that bread cutter choke like movement, they really turned their knee super aggressive to alleviate the movement. And this is wonderful because now I can see the back here and I might have more options available to me. So this is quite, you know, a really good detail, this closing down. Sometimes as you try and take the back, they end up in close guard. So in fact, the worm guard, ironically enough, is probably one of the best setups for the close guard. So if I had taught a whole close guard series, you might say, okay, great techniques, but how do I get there? It's hard to get in the close guard in modern jiu-jitsu. And this is one way in which you could do that. You need modern jiu-jitsu to play old school jiu-jitsu sometimes. So now let me kind of re-emphasize what you're about to drill right now. You're gonna get the spider lapel just like before. Like before, you're gonna use this like a rope to Tarzan in. You scooch into the De La Hiva. And now, number one, you're gonna open the lapel with the foot. If the lapel is already open, this won't really do too much. So, I mean, you can just fake it and imagine. And right as you do, then you feed and sweep. The next time that you do it, you're gonna make the leg lasso, pull him forwards with your legs and De La Hiva hook. As he returns to his base, switch and do the sweep. So you have kind of two little sub-variations that you're gonna practice. Do you have any questions on those? All right, let's go.
Shortest lapel possible. Oh, you actually get purple frag too.
My knee. Okay, so what we're going to be working on here is a simple reverse De La Hiva pass, starting with the shield that he's going to have the knee going across. This can be a bit of a pain in the butt sometimes, and if I try to cut across here, just this in the way is always going to give me a little bit of problem. I want to try to close the distance. I want to completely clear this leg here. So what I like to do is I'm going to control the outside of his gi here. I don't like to control the collar because I feel like it's going to be loose, and also controlling the outside here. Once I clear his leg, will make it much easier to continue to control his leg and keep it out. So my right hand is going to control the outside of his gi here by his ribs, and my left hand is going to control the outside of the knee. A lot of people like to push down here, but for this particular move, I want to control the outside of the knee since we're going to be pulling it upward. From here, I always want to make sure I keep a low base. I want to keep my left foot up. I don't want to be bringing my left knee to the mat because now I'm taking weight off of him and I'm putting it more towards my knee here. It's easier for him to move his leg. So from here, I always want to keep up on my foot here and continue to drive forward. What I'm going to look to do is I'm going to be like doing almost like a towel snap here. It's going to be a very quick movement, but it's going to be very effective if done right. So from here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift up and circle and bring my bring my arm in and start be able to close the gap here. So all I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to go and close the gap. In that quick movement of lifting the leg up, I'm going to have the opportunity to bring my arm in between my body and his leg, and I'm going to be able to start closing the distance here and giving myself a better opportunity to pass. See, with this leg here, it's harder for me to cut my knee across, but now if I can clear it, I have a better opening to start cutting the knee through and looking to get to the side. So it's a very quick movement, but if done right, it's very effective. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to quickly lift up, and when I do that, his leg's going to start going out, and I just simply circle my arm in and clamp down. So I'm going to drop down very low. You see now I have my arm in, tucked in tight. My elbow is going to come to my hip here, so if he does try to circle back around, it's going to be very difficult. He's not going to be able to do much with this leg. And if I want to, having this grip here, I can also use my forearm to push away and keep the distance here if preferred. Now from here, I'm going to continue to drive forward, drive forward. My first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to underhook with my right hand. Either I can post on the mat or I can control the back of his gi here. I'm going to start bringing my head close to his head here. And now my second arm, my left arm, is just going to grab above the above the elbow, controlling the tricep. I'm going to pull tight to my chest. Now from here, I'm going to start cutting my knee, sliding, 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 until I come all the way past. But I'm not going to stop here. If I stay here, he gives him the opportunity to turn, start facing towards me. So what I'm gonna do, I wanna focus on controlling his hip. I'm gonna start going backwards. So my hip is gonna attach to his hip, and we'll circle, 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 until I force him to turn to his side. I wanna have control of his hip so he can't start turning back into me. Now, I start turning towards him, underhook with my left arm here, controlling the shoulder. And now to replace my hip on his hip, my right hand is gonna come out, control his hip. Now I can come up to my knees here. So to start, when I'm here, I like to have my hip attached to his hip, forcing him to turn away. If I just turn up to my knees here without bringing my arm there, he's gonna start turning back into me and start looking to replace the guard. So I wanna keep him turned away. That's why as soon as I come to my knees, I'm gonna replace my hip with my hand on his hip here. So once again, I'm pulling up. I force him to turn away with my hip to his hip. And now I'm gonna start turning back into him. And before I settle, I'm gonna bring my arm around, controlling the hip with my arm. And now I can settle in the side control with the pass. So again, from here, I'm not gonna control the collar. I feel like this could be a lot looser, and also it's more effective just simply by controlling by his ribs here. From here, my left hand is now going to control the outside of the knee. I'm going to look to do a quick movement just to clear this leg here, because cutting across can be very difficult when dealing with this leg here. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift up in a quick motion, and while I do that, circle my right arm in. And I'm going to drop very fast. I'm going to close my elbow tight to my hip here. Now, first things first, my right arm is going to underhook, either post on the mat, or you can control grabbing out to the gi here, keeping my head close to his head. And now my left arm is just gonna grab above the elbow here. I'm gonna start pulling tight to my chest here. If you can even use your head to turn away his head, make it very uncomfortable for him here. Or if you want, you can post your head on the mat. Now I'm just gonna cut the knee all the way, keep going for the pass, but we're not just gonna stop right here. I'm gonna start coming back. Back, 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 until I force him to turn. Once I'm attached to his hip and I forced him to turn, now I can start looking to turn back into him. My left foot's gonna go in front of my right. I'm gonna start looking to turn in. My left arm is gonna come underneath the head. I'm gonna control, make a grip on his on his left shoulder here. And now before I release the pressure on his hip, my right arm is gonna come around, control the hip, and now I'm gonna come up to my knees. Let's do one more time fast. So from here, he's got this annoying leg in the way, keeping me from being able to cut my knee. So I'm just gonna do a quick motion here. And we have the pass.
All right, gather around. No. Just keep it. Zoom in a little bit. All right. Nolan, come on out. So, the main thing that you're going to have to deal with when you're in the worm guard is your opponent stepping over your leg. The rules don't change once you've suddenly gone into worm guard versus De La Riva. His main goal is to step over your leg in close distance and start a pass. This is just much harder in this circumstance. So Nolan, come on up. So I've managed to get in the worm guard here. Let's rotate here so we can see my foot. My foot is shot past his hip, and I'm either in this situation or I've already passed the grip. Now let's talk about how it's going to be hard for your opponent to step over your leg. You don't want your foot accessible and just kind of dangling here. You want to hook it against his back, almost like breaking his posture with your toes, which isn't plausible. It's not likely, but that's what you want to think. You're really pulling down as much as possible. But despite this, my opponent is going to take his hand and reach all the way back like a backstroke and control the top of my foot. That's really the only way to get control of my foot so he can backstep and step over, backstep and step over. And right here. This would represent a progression for him and a regression for me. And it's important that you understand that because that's the battle that's going to be taking place. That's the defensive battle that's going to be taking place once you're here. I should rephrase that. So let's presume I'm up on my side, and my opponent is able to control my foot, and he's able to back step and step over. Now here's what I'm going to do. I keep all of my grips. Let's rotate all the way around here. Keeping all of my grips, I have this, we have to kind of get an unusual view. My leg is being suspended up by this lapel. And I'm going to put all of my weight on the lapel. This is something that Keenan taught at his seminar here. So it's kind of like you're floating in mid-air. So you float up, and from this point, you have an option. This is what Keenan taught in his seminar, I believe, if memory serves, is just circling this leg from that point, because it's much easier to circle when you're floating, and then falling back down and sweeping him in the regular sweep. But instead of this, we're going to go a slightly new avenue. We're going to do a similar idea with our other foot. I'm up in the air, and I bring this foot shin on shin, like this. This will connect very well with what we did 2 weeks ago, when we did a lot of the X guard, single X stuff. Now, using the lapel, I fall back and I pull this lapel, shin on shin, cups in here, and I go into the worm X guard. You can let go of the worm for simplicity. We're in the X guard, and then we're going to do our standard X guard sweep, which is a technical stand-up, extending up, kicking his leg if necessary, technical stand-up, drag him back, and ankle pick for the takedown. And that's something that we covered at length a couple of weeks ago. So, it's a good connection between the two instructional materials. So I'm here already in the worm guard. He steps over my leg as I'm going for the sweep. I'm already kind of up. Look how high I can get here if I so choose. This would probably be a really cool warm-up to do. So open mat or whatever. Shin on shin. Pull from right here. Scoop him in. Go underneath his leg. Get it all the way up on your shoulder. Slide in your X hook. Let's rotate around. And kind of your basic options to finish from the X guard. To keep it simple, keeping this on the shoulder, cupping just above the knee. My hooks are tight against his hip, and behind his knee I extend, get up on my elbow, and kick. Technical stand-up, palm with palm, chop down, back up, ankle pick, and complete the takedown. One last time. This time I'll start it from the beginning of our series. You can always practice those two little tidbits I threw in last time. So back up a little bit for me, Nolan. I swing in, control, suck myself in, immediately go here. I'm working for the sweep. He steps over, look. Any questions? All right, float away. Go ahead.
I'm just happy to be an X guard again.
Dan, would it be better to pass the leg over?
Brea Jiu-Jitsu offers a unique after-school program which provides homework assistance, chess and music classes, and both kids and kids competition jiu-jitsu classes. Our program's vision is to build well-rounded musician scholar athletes through the pursuit of excellence across multiple disciplines. Our program starts by providing transportation from schools in the Brea Olinda Unified School District and surrounding areas. Upon their arrival, students are assigned a beanbag where they have quiet time to begin their homework and studies. Staff is on hand to provide tutoring in all subject matters. If a student completes their homework early, they have the option of practicing trumpet using an innovative silent brass system or playing chess quietly with another student. This time also allows for informal apprenticeship of chess and music. Students are provided with quality instruments so they may participate in daily music classes. These sessions guide the beginning musician through all facets of music and expose them to its art and subculture. An audio report card is carried for all students to document and monitor progress. Students are exposed to chess with weekly lessons covering opening theory, middle game tactics, and common in-game scenarios. Logic, forethought, and strategy are emphasized. Our Kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class involves a conditioning session, high repetition drilling of basic movements, technical instruction, where techniques are broken down into detail and practiced by the student, and sparring, where the student practices against a fully resisting opponent. The kids' jiu-jitsu classes introduce the practitioner to the full spectrum of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. The kids' competition classes are an optional invitation-only class. These training sessions are available as the student demonstrates a desire and ability to pursue excellence in the field of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Our competition team frequents all major kids tournaments and competes against the largest kids teams in the world. Competition is kept in perspective and used as a tool to test one's skills and to provide a vehicle for self-development and exploration. To find out more about our after-school program or how to bring Brea Jiu-Jitsu to your school, visit breajiujitsu.com/afterschool.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing? And then pull me.
We're all about moving fast now. I just want to be on the internet.
I'm internet famous, bro. Gotta figure out my lasso again. Back in the throw. You wouldn't even live. I'm gonna start eating salad again. How about that $5 Domino pizza, bro? I wonder you're not a bit older. Shut up.
I can pass for a cheap star.
So essentially the goal right now is just to have them drill as much as possible. And in just a few moments, we're going to do a bunch of rounds of specific training on the position so it feels more comfortable. This is a little uncomfortable for the guys at this point. So like any new position, specific training plays a pretty huge role in getting familiar, because when you're rolling, you might try this and fail really quickly, and then you're out of that position, and then you're defending yourself for the next 5 minutes before you can even conceivably get your position in.
Oh, they know belt.
You're just like specifically.
So you're watching here Wilson on the bottom, Javier on top, and both purple belts drilling. And in just a few moments, we're going to call time here, and we'll get in a circle and do some specific training and follow some of the guys as they kind of make this position out and make it work for them. Okay, time. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to do specific training. And I'm going to place the top person in a pretty huge handicap. You're going to start in the worm guard proper, not even setting it up. So, if for some reason they escape from the worm guard, try and go into the stuff that we did yesterday and set up the worm guard again. So if you can combine what you did yesterday with what we did today, that's a pretty solid foundation to get kick-started on the lapel. So let's make a circle with our groups. We're gonna do 8 rounds of specific training. We're gonna rotate clockwise, so the top person is gonna be rotating first, and then after 4 rounds, you're gonna switch top to bottom. The same person will be rotating the entire time. So if you're on top first, you're rotating the whole time. And we probably have enough people to have unique partners the whole time. All right, so let's partner up. Let's get the timer set.
So my question to you is, stationary.
I don't know. Checking. Whatever you want. I'm good anyway.
All right, here we go. Get set in the worm guard.
In the worm guard. Oh, jeez.
In the worm guard.
Ready? And go.
Trying to kind of crawl out of it.
Sure. No, it does.
I can't get out.
Have you straight too far? Have you straight too far?
I don't even think we would try to see what the options are here.
Yeah, it's up to you there.
Can't let him step over the leg, so you notice there that Mikey was able to kind of freely step over the leg. So what Hodge would need to do to improve that position is he needs to keep his foot really glued to Mikey's hip, make it really inaccessible for him to just grab and step over really quick.
Yeah, like as soon as I was like, I have something, you were able to switch back.
Watch.
Thank you, sir. They're gonna see something. I'm gonna worm you. Stay in place. I'm gonna show him who's the worm.
Well, you're probably better on top than I am on bottom.
Brazil.
Here we have Nolan on bottom, DJ on top. Saw Nolan in one of the breaks, teaching a technique with Marissa. DJ doing the right thing of controlling the foot to step over, Nolan looking for the back. Trying to go into a berimbolo position, trying to stay tight. DJ looking to untangle the legs. He's a smashing and passing guard.
Hold on that lot. Because as hard as I'm holding them, they're already inching. If I hold people there, nothing with my arms tomorrow.
So Nolan doing a pretty good job of setting it up. Looks like he's comfortable with how to set it up with the grips, which is an important part. He's trying to apply the technique. DJ stepped out of it. It's kind of that, action reaction. Things don't always go to plan, and that's when you really need to test the depth of the position. When things start to go wrong, are you able to recover right away? And obviously DJ can do whatever he wants to Nolan, given the size disparity and age disparity. But it's looking like pretty good flow for the position. It didn't look immature at all, so pretty pleased. DJ doing a good job with lapel awareness. One of my favorite things to do is train with kids, because you can not get injured and you can go through the motions. It's kind of like putting DJ in this spot, which is very common at purple belt, to see the worm guard, getting comfortable with it and overcoming the phobia. We'll stay on Nolan, this time with Javier. Javier doing a good job. Nolan getting disbalanced. I think against a competitor around his size, this probably would have been sweep into berimbolo. So not a bad attempt. Possibly good enough for one advantage there. Again, a very good benefit for Javier to essentially be able to do what he wants in the position, so he can get comfortable in this type of thing. If you notice in the analysis after the first technique, when we showed Keenan versus Murillo Santana, Keenan actually swept in his first sweep, but before 3 seconds he went into berimbolo. And I believe this was very purposeful, because he realizes that with these grips he's really in command for a sweep. So when Murillo came back on top, Keenan earned an advantage. And in a sweep battle, that advantage is quite critical, because you're sweeping each other back and forth. Advantage is going to decide who's the victor. So this position can be good in that regard if you wanted to be clever and tricksy. And Nolan kind of demonstrated that about a minute ago, where he potentially earned an advantage with knocking him off his base and trying to come on top. So it's really important that you keep a very powerful hip rotation.
Like, I'm not even holding on.
That explosive movement of the hips is quite important.
First hand, how awful my worm guard is. I don't know if we have any worm guard experts here.
Check in on Steve-O and Wilson. Steve-O's in the blue gi, Wilson in the black.
Lost the worm guard.
Steve-O representing the Masters 5 division, I believe. 4 or 5. He's competed a number of times. Kind of the heart and soul of our academy. He does all the rounds. rarely sits out, comes four times a week. Pretty impressive. He's dropped a ton of weight since he started. So pretty cool to see that. Wilson, up into about mid-blue belt, was a student of Checkmat Lahabra.
What's available?
Steve-O actually had some Aikido experience back in the day, back in the 70s or so. Decided Jiu-Jitsu was the way to go.
I know my leg is so sore.
I gotta get that leg underneath and I got nothing. There's nothing I can do.
Say the person rotate and then go top to bottom.
You okay?
Just rotate and then go top to bottom.
How did you do it? Oh, man. Prodigy.
I know you like this stuff. I don't even do this. So's my grip.
Ready? Alright, go this side. Just gonna stay for a minute. Come back to the left. You. Ready? Here we go. Ready?
You can see on that one that Javier was struggling a little bit with the length of the lapel, barely had a grip. Very common. He missed the technique on lengthening the lapel. Came in on the third technique. Just kind of trying to throw him over from the worm guard, trying to sweep to his right instead of the left.
Is this passing or no? I don't think so. Still, I'm not really. This is as far as it could go. Get that grip.
So overall, I think I'm seeing a mixed level of understanding, which on day 2 of any sequence is okay. Usually it takes the guys about maybe 2 weeks to start applying it in a live sparring situation at a decent pace.
Kill your right grip.
Dude, yeah. My balance is like acting like.
Oh, sorry.
Bill.
Yes. Ooh, I saw Steve behind me. I'm glad it was me. No one don't care.
What's up?
I'm here.
Just give me a help. Get down here. Watch your feet. No, you ain't gonna. Don't worry about the camera, Jack. Don't worry.
Mr. Short.
You can see there, kind of what I was saying in the instructional portion, is that DJ was able to get close guard. He just let it go in the spirit of the drill. But a very good close guard setup.
I got it. Here we go.
See him experimenting with a tilt sweep like motion. Kind of interesting. Here, probably the best thing to do is really just try and apply. He's trying to collar drag. We did that, I think it was last week. Whole series on the hand and the collar, kind of emulating Leandro Lowe and Shanji together. So he's wanting to work that. But I would say probably the best thing to do is just pretend like the lapel is the only thing that exists in the world when you do specific training, or specific training on whatever you're doing. Double underhooks, sucks it in for the triangle. Saw Sean Roberts submitted Benson Henderson in 19 seconds with that same triangle from the double underhooks pulling through. It was on the other side though.
It's my turn. It says Mikey beats him up for me, then it's my turn. I got him already worn out. Can you follow, right? I don't know how I'm going to get this in a minute. I think I can get it.
I'm great. Your question, no, I'm great. Yours.
Alright. Oh, I'm the warmer. Yes. Yeah. Watch your face. Oh, they're alright.
Not really. Like, better safe than sorry. There's no way I was getting out of that.
Oh, we have new business now. Yeah. Ready?
One more round.
Yo, the wormy.
Close. Back at it again. There's no white pants.
So on the bottom, you have Matt Grant, our resident Anthony Bourdain killer. He's a blue belt Masters 4. He's still got one more year for Masters 5, and he's licking his lips to go with Anthony Bourdain. Operates on a different wavelength than the rest of humans. Comes back from China, which he travels to like every week. Drives right from the airport to class. Trains at 2 academies. Trains here maybe 4 times a week. His other academy 4 times a week. He's doing it on the funky side too. Wants to be different. That's pretty cool. See him experimenting with going under the leg. I'd say probably the right time to experiment with like variations is probably as you gain proficiency, and in the beginning stages of the specific training is just really stick with the game plan and just try and nail it like 20 times in sparring. It's like a think less philosophy when you learn. He's doing a fair job. Lapel isn't his most comfortable position, to be sure, given his skill set. Has a good underhook half guard.
I didn't see it, so.
No, it was probably just awkward.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, rolling.
Don't go on bottom.
Rest the hammer. Water.
I was having grips in one arm.
Brent, go with,
You don't have to roll one arm tonight. Is that right?
What?
Nobody has any grips in that one arm?
Yeah.
Go over here on this side.
We have to roll one arm.
Fly!
Nobody has any grips in one hand right now? Trip holding that. Oh, you? I don't. Have a bad hand and a good hand holding. Did you want to roll, Orlando, or do you want? You gonna sit out around, or? You got something on, or? You know, I gotta worry about those wrist takedowns, right? Robert, do you wrestling with you? I thought he said he did wrestling.
Good start. Alright, here we go.
I think so.
That's it.
No, I know.
What's it, Nate? Sorry.
How come they get the good air?
No, that's what I got when I signed up.
Brent.
So I guess yeah, in the year.
Ready?
Here we go, Neil.
You're dirty.
Go.
So here we have Brant on bottom, new blue belt, against Nate. Nate has a lot of natural talent, just not quite the experience, maybe around 5 months or so. It's a very good future, that's for sure, in Jiu-Jitsu.
I don't know what I'm doing here, person.
You go for the Sean Roberts.
Try to. That failed horribly.
You should have had a deeper, huh?
Yeah, you're good. I learned right now. I knew this. I learned.
Don't want to get that eventually.
Brain damage.
You can go ahead and do it.
It's all good.
Go ahead and do it. I like the order.
I've been trying, that's all.
50-50 heel hook.
Yeah.
It's almost 100%.
Not so much heel hooks, but just like, you know, just the ankles and everything else.
I got my throat when I was trying to break. That was good. That was good. All right.
Do you want some more?
I have water.
All on Adam's apple.
Yeah.
You're good, you're good.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good, buddy. You're good.
It's tight. Very tight when you're in that position.
Wanna go, Steve?
Wanna roll next?
Yeah. It's, I had no idea if I was on.
Steven, DJ, come over here, more on this side.
Are you gonna film Steven and DJ?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Let's get out the way.
It's
Not our.
We
It's
want
not
to,
our,
we want to be as far away as possible from whoever's being filmed. We don't want to let out our secrets.
No, we don't want to show anybody up.
I don't, it's like, he's so little. How did they
Or it's how you let the old guys beat you up like that.
So in this one here, we have Steven on top. We have DJ on bottom. This is a pretty cool match because Steven on top is going to be calm, cool, collected, and slow. And DJ is going to be aggressive and quick. So it's kind of yin and yang. So always a fun role to watch. Steven has very good over-under style passing. DJ has a good collar and sleeve guard. You might see him work for that. Good kimuras from top side. DJ working the sit-up. Nice sweep by DJ.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just trying open guard. My open guard sucks. I'm not trying to put you down and get on top. Work on bottom. It sucks. That's how you pass it. That's why I gotta work it. It's not gonna get better if I start trying. You've been your butt kicked for a long time. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Not all prodigies like your buddies. I've literally never beaten him, ever. Yeah, but he...
You want to Frank Roger?
Come on, Nate.
Nate. I'm going to China tomorrow.
We can go as hard as you like, or as easy as you like. I will beat your pace.
Morgan.
Actions are louder than words, so. I got a pretty good game nowadays. Good to see you. Okay. Nice. Here's what I should be.
I have to wait to see what you can do. Well, it's going slow.
I know. And I'm jumping slow.
Yeah. I did this to go harder.
Yeah.
You know,
So where's that?
if that's what it needs to get out of that, then I'll tap. You know, at least I know how to get it. Yeah. I didn't have it that tight.
No, it was just these guys.
Okay, so I wasn't trying to.
Yeah. No, it's okay. We'll just reset. Because I can tell you're thinking, you're working.
I was, that's the first time I tried that.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it worked.
It's valid.
Then
You have to
I
clear
still had
it, but...
trouble, but I got out of that.
Right, you're not getting tapped. For sure.
I had something to go for, but I just missed it. I don't know if it would work.
Pressure okay?
What?
Pressure okay on you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually not the pressure that gets me.
What's your left?
So when you were coming down, throwing up the
It's still not good for you. Because I'm still good for this. I know, but I have a lot of flattening power.
But I thought, if you had the half
Like an arm triangle or something.
if I could hook you, I could roll you into an arm triangle.
Not usually. That's actually usually what I do to people. I reach over to the far side because it flattens them out better. And then I can
if I get
pass.
that hook here,
You can try. A lot of times guys will just do one step out of it. Like if you want to try it again? Because we're here. And I'm not quite here.
so you throw over,
Uh-huh.
and then you're blocking that leg.
Yep, uh-huh. So I'm smashing this down.
Trying to get this leg out.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
I kind of wanted for like a quarter.
You're clearing that leg. That's what.
If they're controlling this leg, no go. If they aren't, yes, for sure. Because that's probably one of my main, probably my second best pass. Is that just wait for them to buck. Step.
Good roll.
Almost alive.
Sure.
Come over here.
That's nice.
Yeah. I feel like I'm crazy.
Yeah, we can go with my dad.
Okay. Okay. I love this. Is so empty. Like spotlight. Oh, you get out of here. You get out of here. Rick's still worm guard, huh?
Well.
Check out, Steven has a sweep set up right here. He's going to sweep to his left. He has control of Mikey's arm and on the bell. Watch, it'll look easy, but it's not easy. Hopefully he gets it so I don't insert the foot into my mouth. Not quite. Almost. Need to be a little bit more explosive into it. Tried to switch to an underhook half guard. Trying to undo the lapel and switch to Bernardo Faria, single leg.
I heard you eavesdropping. I'm not gonna break your grip. You're not gonna let go. That'd be so stupid. Right?
Oh man. You're attacking like always, man.
Good shot, dude. Bounce that, leave. Good work, man.
Yeah, I kept trying to turn in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was afraid. I wasn't sure about attacking the.
Oh, yeah, you're good. I'll let you know. It's a little weak, but nothing like Is that it? We're done?
I mean, there was another thing that I was worried about, though. You were able to pass my guard and mount my guard. Thinking about so much stuff now.
That's it for today. Tomorrow's live class is going to be at 6 o'clock. So tune in for we're going to get a little bit more crazy with the lapel. So hopefully we'll see the tomorrow at 6.